The scariest thing when shopping for a home isn't the old roof, cracked driveway, or outdated kitchen. Sometimes it's what you can't see, can't smell, and wouldn't know about unless you test. I'm talking about radon gas. And if you're buying a home in New Jersey, especially in towns like Old Bridge, Freehold, or Koczon, radon testing should absolutely be part of your home inspection conversation. Most buyers know that once we find a home, get an accepted offer, and go under contract, the next step is usually the home inspection. But here's where some buyers get caught off guard. A basic home inspection tells you a lot, but it doesn't tell you everything. There's the general home inspection, and then there are add-on inspections or specialized tests. Things like termite inspection, sewer scope, oil tank sweep, mold testing, and one of the big ones, radon testing. And one question I hear a lot from buyers is this: should I get a radon test during my New Jersey home inspection? My answer is yes. Radon is one of those things you can't see, smell, or taste, and you never know what's in the home unless you test for it. And in New Jersey, this matters. Radon is a radioactive gas that comes from the natural breakdown of uranium in soil and rock. It moves up through the ground and can enter a home through foundation cracks, gaps around pipes, sump pump openings, crawl spaces, and other small entry points. The concern is long-term exposure. Radon could collect indoors, especially in basements, crawl spaces, and lower levels of the home. Elevated exposure over time has been linked to serious health risks, including lung cancer. Now, this isn't meant to scare anybody. It's meant to help you make an informed decision. New Jersey has many areas with moderate to high radon potential, but here's the important part. You can't judge radon by the town, the neighborhood, or how nice the house looks. Two houses on the same street can test completely different. One home could be fine, the house next door can come back high. That's why guessing is not a strategy. You have to test. Radon is not something you inspect with your eyes. It's something you have to test for. During a home inspection, the radon test is usually placed in the lowest livable area of the home, often the basement. The test usually stays there for at least 48 hours. At the end of the test, you get a reading. The EPA action level is 4.0. If the home tests at or above that level, mitigation is usually recommended. But buyers need to understand this. A high radon test does not automatically mean you walk away from the house. Radon usually isn't a reason to panic. It's a reason to get the facts and solve the problem. Once you have the results, you have options. You may ask the seller to install a mitigation system. You may ask the seller for a credit, or you may decide to handle it after closing, depending on the deal, the timing, and the advice from the professionals involved. Radon mitigation systems are very common in New Jersey. Most of the time, it's a pipe and a fan system that pulls the radon from under the foundation as it vents safely outside. When installed properly, these systems can reduce radon levels significantly, and sellers should pay attention too. If you're selling a home in New Jersey, don't be surprised when a buyer asks for a radon test during inspections. That doesn't mean something is wrong with your house. It means the buyer is doing their due diligence. You already have a radon mitigation system, have the paperwork ready. If you've tested before, keep the results available. The more prepared you are, the less friction you may have during the inspection process. For buyers, the message is simple. Get the test. It's simple. It's smart. It's not overly expensive compared to the cost of the home. And it protects you from guessing about something you can't see. For sellers, the message is simple too. Be prepared, because the inspection issues are a lot easier to deal with when everyone has the facts instead of fear. The worst thing about radon isn't finding it. The worst thing is not knowing until after you own the home. So before you fall in love with the kitchen, the finished basement, or the backyard, make sure you understand what could be coming up from underneath the house. Get the radon test, know the number, then make the decision with facts, not fear. I'm Ted Koczon with EXP, where strategy turns vision into reality.